What's goody, fight fans? What's good, boxing heads, fight fans around the world? Be Marsh with another boxing video. So in this day in boxing history, August 23rd, 1986, the body snatcher, Mike Mccallum, the yard man from Jamaica, fighting and defending his WBA 154-pound strap junior middleweight against another guy from the Caribbean by the name of Julian Jackson. Julian the Hawk Jackson. Okay? Now, this is a fight that happened in, I believe this fight was in Miami, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, actually it is in Miami. Miami Beach. You know, this was a great place to have this fight, you know what I'm saying, out there in Miami. You know, with the Caribbean contingent out there, you know, enough West Indians out there, enough man from the Caribbean out in Florida, you know what I'm saying? So Miami was a great place to put the fight, you know what I mean? You could see the flags there. They have the Jamaica flag there. Somewhere they got the VI flag. You could see it there in the middle of the screen. They got the Virgin Islands flag. So you know the man is representing Julian Jackson, St. Thomas, Virgin Islands, as they call it, VI, you know what I'm saying? Big up to all the massive from VI and all the Jamaicans, you know what I'm saying? Especially those who were present at this particular fight, you know what I mean? So this was a fight right here, you know, between two undefeated guys in their prime, man. Two undefeated guys. We have Julian Jackson, you know. Julian Jackson was a man who was, you check it. This man Julian Jackson is a great man. To me, this guy is an all-time great. And this guy, Mike Mccallum, is a guy who I believe should have been amongst the fearsome four, you know, or the great four of the '80s. That was what's his name? We know with Roberto Duran, Sugar Ray Leonard, Marvin Hagler, Tommy Hearns, you know what I'm saying? Damn shame we didn't get to see the body snatcher fight these guys, you know what I mean? But, you know, this fight right here, I believe these two guys, yeah, they were undefeated. I believe Julian the Hawk Jackson was like 29-0 with 27 KOs. Devastating puncher. One of the hardest punches I've ever seen in my life. He's one of those guys, when I watch him, when he throws a punch, I'm already feeling scared and sorry for the guy who's about to receive it, man. Especially when he throws a power shot, which he does ultimately almost all the time, you know what I mean? Rarely did the guy jab. This guy was always a come forward power puncher, man. You know what I'm saying? Only time you'd see the man not coming forward is if he got stopped in his tracks. You know what I'm saying? It might have got hurt, you know what I mean? But you know, he was fighting against the body snatcher, Mike Mccallum. He himself, I think he was 26-0 with 23 KOs, man. So these two guys were serious punchers, man. Serious punchers, undefeated guys. Both of them had been tested coming into this fight. And this was a good fight, ladies and gents. This was a great fight, in my opinion. You know, Julian Jackson was a guy who, like I said, whenever he fought, whenever he punched an opponent, man, I feared and I was frightened for the opponent, man, just because of how devastating of a puncher he was, you know what I'm saying? Well, you know, this fight, we going to get into it, man. Let's get into this fight one time. Hold tight, hold tight. Let me get this joint on some good footage one time. It took forever to fight, man. You see that intense stare the man giving him, Julian Jackson, giving the body snatcher an intense stare, man. So this was a good fight, man, and it has begun. You know what I'm saying? This was a fight where, in my opinion, man, this guy, Julian Jackson, man, he came out there charging, man. He came out there trying to hurt Julian Jackson, man. To me, this fight, I think he won the first minute and a half of this fight. To me, the first round was a swing round. Could have gone either way. But this guy landed numerous power punches already from when the bell rang, you know what I'm saying? The man was all up on him, throwing enough punches, a mirage of punches, right hands, you know. You don't see any jabs really from from Julian Jackson. But to me, in my opinion, the man Mike Mccallum, he started throwing that jab, and you can see now the jab was now slowing the man Julian Jackson down. You know what I'm saying? Julian Jackson now was he's eating the jabs, and to me, Mike Mccallum was an excellent guy who threw the jab. His jab was excellent. You know what I'm saying? So he could fight too, but he already knows. To me, how I seen it, Mike Mccallum, his game plan was not to get involved in a super slugfest with this guy who was coming in charging. You see, Julian Jackson is trying to throw the jab, you know what I'm saying? He's trying to throw the jab, but he's not really comfortable, man. He'd rather go in there and just basically throw them kind of hooks. You see them hooks? You know what I'm saying? The man could throw the hooks too, though, you know what I mean? Mike Mccallum, you know what I'm saying? But I thought Mike Mccallum at the end, ultimately he made this round a little even, and maybe you could give it to either guy because he boxed and he counterpunched, and he had this guy off balance when he counterpunched him, throwing him off balance, you know what I'm saying? You check it. So I thought the man Mike Mccallum did well in the first round, and so did Julian Jackson, man. It was a great way to start the fight. Round one was pretty exciting. This guy, to me, Julian Jackson definitely landed the more power punches, but Mike Mccallum landed some occasional body blows, and he threw some body blows that did slow the man down. You know what I'm saying? And he fought a smart game plan. You know what I mean? We check it, but in round two is where what's his name? Julian Jackson. Julian Jackson came in and he tried to charge that guy. And he was trying to, what's his name? Julian Jackson, he tried to come in and was the come forward fighter in round two. You're going to see it in a sec. But Julian Jackson Mike Mccallum stuck to his boxing, you know what I'm saying? He was throwing the jab, you know what I mean? He was throwing the jab and countering him. You check it, and he countered that man with a nice a right hand to the temple, you know what I'm saying? A right hand to the temple followed by a left hook to the body. You know what I'm saying? I want to get to that part of the film one time. Excuse me. All right. Round two, you could see the man basically came in, was trying to fight, but Mike Mccallum's boxing. He made that guy try to fight his kind of fight, you know what I mean? Mike McCallum's working behind the jab with his left hand. You see he's throwing his left hand. Boom. You see? He's catching, throwing the jab. He's ignoring this man, trying to throw the right hand and them hooks. Look at the head movement. Ducking those punches, you know what I'm saying? And he's basically, he's got the tight defense. Mike McCallum's defense in round two was amazing. And right there is when he got caught. Right there is he got caught with a right to the temple when he was countering Mike McCallum countered Julian Jackson's jab, and he threw a right to the temple followed by a left hook to the body. And this all she wrote from there, ladies and gents. This guy was not the same after that. Look at that. He's throwing wild punches, wild and wide punches. Oh my God, Mike McCallum is taking his time. He's taking his time. He's sizing him up, using his yardstick. He's using his broomstick, his jab. Now he's going to the body. This guy's defenseless, man. He can't do anything right now. And Mike Mccallum was a serious puncher. I don't care what nobody says, man. How he got this man Julian Jackson with that one punch that hurt him, that knocked him off balance, man. Now look, this man is in a world of hurt, man. He don't know what to do with himself. He hasn't thrown any punches back barely, you know what I'm saying? And he's eating numerous punches, you know what I mean? Numerous punches. Look at all this work. He's catching punches all night, man. And the referee eventually had to stop it. He stopped him on his feet. Julian Jackson is protesting, but you can't protest like that when you're getting pummeled like that in the corner, you know what I'm saying? That's not going to happen, man. You're not going to get the benefit of the doubt, man, and then you try and protest after you haven't thrown any punches, you know what I mean? So, this is Mike Mccallum, man. He retained his title. He was the very first man to beat what's his name? Julian Jackson, you know what I'm saying? He beat him from pillar to post, you know what I'm saying? And he had a great run. Mike McCallum had a great run at junior middleweight, you know what I'm saying? He beat guys like David Braxton out of Detroit, man. He was a tough customer, you know what I'm saying? David Braxton was never a world champ, but you know, he was a guy who gave enough people enough good fights, you know what I mean? And that was a good guy on his resume to beat, you know what I'm saying? He beat Julian Jackson. Mike McCallum also beat guys like he beat what's his name from Detroit, the other guy in the Crunk Gym, Milton McCory, you know what I'm saying, a guy that got beat by Donald Curry. Yeah, Mike McCallum also beat Donald Curry up, you know what I'm saying? He knocked him out in the 5th round, you know what I'm saying? And then he stepped up in weight, you know what I mean? From junior middleweight, he went up to face the WBA middleweight champ, and that was the guy from the Congo, but based out of Italy, Sambu Kalambe. You know what I'm saying? Sambu Kalambe was a guy who was the very first man to take Mike McCallum's oath, you know what I mean? That would have been a good fight maybe between, you know, this was in 88, you know what I'm saying? You check it, that was in 88 when he finally got his first loss, you know what I'm saying? And Julian Jackson, he went on to become, I think he got that same belt. He fought for that vacant belt, the WBA super featherweight, super welterweight, the junior middleweight strap, WBA. And he beat what's that? He beat a Korean by the name of Inchul Baek, you know what I'm saying? And that was for the vacant strap. And Inchul Baek, you know, he lost that fight, but he was a guy, you know, one of the few Koreans I've ever seen. This guy went on to become what is he? He became a champion at super middleweight. I believe he was a WBA champion at super middleweight, you know what I'm saying? This Inchul Baek, the South Korean, and he defended that belt a few times, you know what I'm saying? So anyways, you know, that's on this day in boxing history. 2 great fighters right here, Hall of Famers, you know what I mean? Julian Jackson and Mike McCallum. You know, they gave us a great fight. 2 guys, a battle of who's the best fight out of the Caribbean islands, out of the West Indies. Was it Julian Jackson or Mike McCallum? And Mike McCallum sure enough proved why he was the best and ultimately had a great career. And he had a great career, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to really quite compare it to Julian Jackson because, you know, if I have to, I'm going to rate the man Mike McCallum. I rate him as an all-time great in my opinion, you know what I mean? He had some great wins in his career and is a 3-division champ, you know what I'm saying? At 154, 160, and 175, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, this was a great fight, man, on this day in boxing history. Let me know what you guys think of this video and if you've seen this fight. And I'll catch you on the next video. Be March Boxing, and thanks for listening. Peace.